Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. Right here on Spreaker.com. And you can also find me on AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Still working on our main site. Anywho. It's the 5th of July, 2017. It is what it is. We are seeing a huge backlash, if you will, from the mainstream propaganda media. And apparently the reason why is because we're over the target and we're bombing the crap out of them with our truth, with our facts, with, with our educational prowess, because we know how to educate people. We get this, they understand this. They know. Look at CNN. They're grasping for straws now. They're blackmailing people. What? Yeah, they are. Here, let me tell you right now. Backlash. Hashtag CNN blackmail trends as grassroots boycott of CNN advertisers begin. CNN has kicked the hornet's nest too hard this time. Daily Wire is reporting this on the 5th of July, 2017. CNN's terrifying decision to threaten to personally destroy the person who created the epic WWE video President Trump tweeted out last week. CNN's chilling move to go the full brown shirt against somebody goofing on the internet does not surprise me at all. This is what the Daily Wire is reporting. What is a little shocking is how open the left-wing network was about its mafia tactics. A threat, an actual threat, a warning to others right there in print on CNN, emphasis added. CNN, a multi-billion-dollar mega media corporation, will be watching the behavior of a private citizen, all of us really, and should this person, all of us really, ever be discovered behaving in a way that this multi-billion-dollar mega media corporation disapproves, this multi-billion-dollar mega corporation will ruin this person's life. All of our lives, really. Will reveal your name. Will see to it that you lose your job or are harassed out of your home and whatever other horrors CNN's fascist SJW army can come up with. Says read more. I'm going to put that on the American Liberty Radio podcast Facebook page so that you can read more. Let me just say this right now. We are in a police state, period. End of sentence. California is worse. New York is worse. Illinois is worse. We are in a police state. Period. I'm not going to sit here and mince words with you. This is ridiculous for CNN to do this. CNN needs to be, and now remember, years ago, Ted Turner created CNN. He created TNT. He's big, mega, just this person, right? Married Jane Fonda. This huge media corporation, right? He sold it off, made his, few $1 billion, and walked away. And now somebody else is taking over. Shows you how CNN was created, where it came from, what its background is. But CNN has always been fake news from the time I'm an information junkie, and I love to hear news, and I want to see it because I want to see what people are saying, and I want to see their points of view. I want to see their perspectives, okay? And to sit here and to give any credence to CNN's what can I say? Their idiocy. For me to sit here and to say, well, yeah, CNN has a right to speak. No. Freedom of speech. I mentioned this in a previous podcast. That means you and I have a right to talk and say whatever we want and, tell our government to piss off if we want to without being hauled away into or disappeared in some way, shape, or form like they do in China. We have a right to say stuff. Everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care where you stand on political. We all have a right to say something. That's fine. I'm good with that, okay? I may not agree with you, but you have a right to say what you say. I mean, I'm fine with that, okay? It's when you say, and I use you in a general sense, not in a specific person sense, when you say something that brings about the creation of social justice warriors who want to destroy the United States of America, tear down all of these things that we have in protecting our free speech and all this so that they, and you being the leader of that, so that they can say only what they want to say and everybody else has to shut up. No. When CNN goes after somebody for saying something, that's a treasonous act. That's an illegal act against the Constitution and the United States of America. Period. That's a treasonous act. Our generals in the Civil War used to deal with treason in one way, or several ways actually, but mainly firing squad. So, we need to take all these mainstream propaganda mediaists, and I say that, is that a word, mediaists? Well, I just made it up. There you go. And we need to intellectually put them against the wall, and with the truth and the facts, fire upon them to where they no longer have any say whatsoever. Now, you might say, well, you're doing the same thing they're doing by trying to shut people down. No. There's a difference. And the difference is, you and I we can sit around and say whatever we want. We can talk to our politicians in whatever way. And we have a right to say what we say, and it is protected. It's when that protected speech is used as a license, is used in a very litigious way to push for the overthrow of the United States of America in whatever fashion the communicators of this treasonous speech have in their foundation of what they believe. That's the difference. Freedom of speech is me sitting here telling you about freedom of speech, telling you about God, telling you about Allah, telling you how I disagree with certain things and how other people disagree with certain things and how we agree on certain things. That's freedom of speech. I just answered my own question before even asking it. Yes, I've said that if people don't like this country and how it operates right now, pack your crap and get the hell out. That's freedom of speech. For me to say, I'm coming to your house and pulling your ass out and packing your crap up and I'm going to put you on the plane and send you away, that is an illegal action. And that type of speech is basically in the same vein that the social justice warriors have, the anti-Trump people have, because you are now calling for an action that will really take away the other person's right to exist. Now, you're probably going to say, well, I don't care how you justify it. You can't do it. Yeah. You can just keep going on with that idiotic line of thought because you're going to find at the end of it, you're going to find I'm right. Nobody can come to you and say and manhandle you and threaten you and blackmail you and, as an analogy, take you by the hand and pull you out and send you off someplace else. That is an act of aggression. And they're using the act of aggression disguised as freedom of speech, using the First Amendment as a license to promote and act upon someone else and some other group with the act of aggression. Okay, so you can say I'm trying to justify it any way you want, but I'm not. I'm not. So these pinheads over at CNN think they're think their crap doesn't stink. Let me tell you something. They need to be abolished right now. They need I'm going to say this. The federal government, the FCC, under rules and regulations under the FCC, CNN needs to be fined for promoting an act of aggression, violating other people's free speech. I can go down the line, but I'm not an attorney, so but they need to go in and they need to take care of what they have to take care of. If CBS can be fined for a wardrobe malfunction of Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson years ago, remember that flap going on? If CBS can get fined for that, CNN can get... There needs to be a cease and desist order on CNN immediately. Well, that's shutting down free speech. No, it's not. You go in, you warn them, look, you can't do this. Let me read this again. CNN's terrifying decision to threaten to personally destroy, and let me say this because it says this here, I'll let you read it. Han Asshole Solo, that's one of the people that said something. He said, the person who created the epic WWE video President Trump tweeted out last week, he's the one that created that video. CNN's chilling move to go full brown shirt, which is a reference to the Nazis in Germany back in the 30s and 40s. CNN's chilling move to go full brown shirt against some nobody goofing on the internet does not surprise me at all. Let me read that one more time because I want this to sink in. CNN's chilling move to go full brown shirt against someone nobody goofing on the internet does not surprise me. Now, either Daily Wire or Infowars.com better learn their grammar because that didn't sound right. But let me go here. What is a little shocking is how open the left-wing network was about its mafia tactics, a threat, an actual threat, a warning to others right there in print on CNN. This is what the Daily Wire is reporting. It's on Infowars.com. It says read more. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. This is important because this goes after your free speech here in America. Okay? Now, let me go here. CNN, this is what's quoted at the dailywire.com website. Quote, CNN is not publishing the name because he is a private citizen who has issued an extensive statement of apology, showed remorse by saying he has taken down all of his offending posts, and because he said he is not going to repeat this ugly behavior on social media again. In addition, he said his statement could serve as an example to others not to do the same. CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should any of that change. Daily Wire goes on to say, hey, that's a nice life you got there. Be a shame if anything happened to it. Daily Wire continues, in other words, CNN, a multi-billion-dollar mega media corporation, will be watching the behavior of a private citizen all of us really? And should this person, all of us really, ever be discovered behaving in a way that this multi-billion-dollar mega media corporation disapproves, this multi-billion-dollar mega corporation will ruin this person's life, all of ours really, will reveal your name, will see to it that you lose your job, are harassed out of your home, and whatever other horrors CNN's fascist SJW army can come up with. The fact that this immoral and breathtakingly unethical Big Brother bullying is coming from CNN's Andrew Kaczynski makes it a little less surprising. Kaczynski has a nasty track record of abusing his corporate power to pull the wings off of private citizens. While at BuzzFeed, Kaczynski, who obviously suffers from little man's syndrome, once spent his Christmas Eve orchestrating his online lynch mob to destroy a young woman's life. A nobody with fewer than 1,000 Twitter followers, all over a tasteless joke Kaczynski did not approve of. The good news is, there's always good news in all of this, right? The good news is that on the 4th of July, and through the beauty of democracy via the awesome power of social media, the proles are striking back. To call attention to CNN's Hitler tactics, the Twitter tag, hashtag CNN blackmail, is not only trending, it is, as the person here at Daily Wire writes, the number one trend on Twitter nets. To say this corporate bullying is blowing up in CNN's face is a massive understatement. But wait, there's more. The proles, P-R-O-L-E-S, the proles are also using the awesome power of social media to launch a grassroots boycott against CNN's advertisers. In other words, the good guys have finally figured out how to use the left's tactics against the left. Make no mistake, this is a public relations disaster of massive proportions for CNN, every bit as bad, probably worse, than the previous month, which was a train wreck filled with forced resignations, massive corrections, mind-blowing retractions, and a ratings death spiral. That was different, though. Attacking the President of the United States with hate and lies is one thing. Attacking and I'm not going to use his name, you guys can read this, attacking a private citizen, and some believe this person is just a kid, a 15-year-old kid, man alive. If you doubt this is a disaster for CNN, click the hashtag CNN blackmail tag. The proles are furious at this corporate bullying, and rightly so. This was written at the Daily Wire by John Nolte, and I totally agree. Because at the end of the day, we win. The truth, the facts, all of that came out. CNN last month, CNN's ratings are way down. MSNBC's ratings are way down. NBC's ratings are, all the news organizations of those networks, their ratings are they're in the crapper. They're gone. They're so low that I'm wondering whether or not these companies that own, the 5 companies that own all the media organizations out there, I wonder if they're even thinking about just shutting down all news and just having just one channel. It would be better just all of them to merge into one. Oh, let's not give them any ideas. I was watching a documentary about, a few years ago now. And it reminded me of how the media really sensationalizes everything that is, that you and I wouldn't even think, is any big deal, because common sense would say 1 + 1 is 2, and so you figure it out and go from there, right? No, but the propagandist in the quote-unquote news organizations sensationalize all these things, spin it, make it their own, And then, they tease you a little bit. Oh, yeah, here's this story. And, oh, yeah, here's our response to this. And then they spin it and give their, 2 cents worth and go from there. Let me tell you, when I was watching, and this is several years ago now, when I was watching this, I realized one thing back then. And this was probably about, 2005, 6, somewhere around in there. And I realized that it's not news anymore. There's no news. There's no news. And the news that we see is not news. It's information that these mainstream media propagandists use to indoctrinate us with their, I'm going to say it, their liberal ideas, their Marxist ideas, their social justice warriors ideas. Now, let me also go here and give you my point. I was watching years ago when he was on CNN, on HLN, I was watching Glenn Beck, and he mentioned exactly then, this is like 2000, what is it? Let's see. I moved to Reno in 2006. Reno, Nevada, was there 2007, 2008. Around at that time when Glenn Beck was on HLN and moved over to Fox News, Fox Business News, right? So it was about that time. And he was talking about social justice warriors, or not on HLN, but after he moved to Fox. He was talking about social justice warriors and social justice and all of that. And he was, he had his chalkboard and he was putting up pictures and all that, right? You know how he is, right? So he talked about this 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And now what do we have as of 2015-16? We have social justice warriors. Okay. Now, of course, he left Fox, not because he was fired, but because they bought his contract out, Fox News, because people, let me tell you the catalyst that I think caused him to leave. I was watching him on Fox and Friends one day, and this is on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, look this up. I'm not lying. I watched this on Fox and Friends, Glenn Beck, FEMA camps. Go to YouTube and look that up. Fox and Friends, Glenn Beck, FEMA camps. It's on there. Go look for it. I watched it myself on TV. And he was talking about, and he told the people on the couch there, he said, I'm going to talk about FEMA camps because they're here and I got information from people and blah, 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 and he's telling these people and the hosts are just like dumbfounded. They're like, what? There's FEMA camps? And yeah, there's internment camps in America for you and I, right? So he goes on and he says the same thing on his radio show, right? So on his nightly show that you saw on Fox Business News, I watched it. He came out, he says, hey, went through his monologue. And then he looked at the camera and he says, I was going to talk about FEMA camps in America, but, and he walks to the camera, or he, says a few other things, and he looks at the camera and he gets a little closer to the camera and he says, he says they don't exist. And he walks closer to the camera and he says, they told me to say that. He's telling you right there that somebody got to him at the network and told him not to talk about it. Shortly thereafter, he left. Fox bought out his contract and left. He's still relevant to the information. I was listening to his radio show one day, probably 6 months or so ago, or probably longer than that now. And he said he was talking, I forget what the subject was, but he was talking about something. And he literally said, I better not say much more than that because they'll haul me off to a camp somewhere. He made allusions to the fact that there are camps here. He knows this. And guess who sent him the information? Probably a whole lot of people, but guess who the main person was? It was Alex Jones. Because Alex Jones has people that he talks to at the Glenn Beck, where at his company. So, I don't know about now because things have changed a little bit, but I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. All these little things add up. You ever heard that? Oh, little things add up. You've heard that, right? Well, you better start looking at these little things, and you better open your damn eyes, because these things are adding up to something that you're not going to like. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You're going to wake up one day, and you're going to, get ready for work and everything. You're going to hop in your car, and you're going to start driving down the road, and you're going to go, wait a minute, where the hell am I? You're not going to recognize where you're at. It is going to be that different. It's not the Mandela effect. That's all bullcrap. You're not going to recognize where you live. You're going to get to work. You're going to see something totally different. I don't specifically know what it is. I just know that you're not going to recognize your environment that you're in. Okay? I know this. But I also know this as well, additionally. We have the ability, you and I, we have the ability to defend our nation against these mainstream propagandist media outlets with the truth and the facts. Now, someone's going to say, well, if you read something, it's by somebody else. Well, yeah, that you just don't take somebody else's word for it. You go and dig. I did. When Jimmy Carter was president, that's when I started all this. Started my knowledge of what's going on behind the curtain, right? Began to really understand what was going on and the machinations and all of that and how people were putting things together and all of this. And I didn't hear the word spin until way later in life. And I'm thinking, that's exactly what it is. I remember growing up in the late 60s. Yes, I'm that old, folks. As a kid, 6 years old, 7 years old, watching the news on TV talk about Vietnam. And I remember learning how they got the news outlets here in America got that from there. They filmed it, they processed it, they sent it out, boom, it got there within 24 to 48 hours to the news station. They put it on, boom, there it was. Now, it's like right now. You see it happening in front of your face. Okay? Now, my whole point of all that is this. It's all out in front of your face, and if you don't see it, you're blind as a freaking bat. If all you want to do is close your door and just drink your beer and watch your sports and do all that, then you are exactly what George Orwell, Eric Blair talked about in 1984. So you better think about that. Think about that because, well, that's exactly what's happening right now. Right now. Whether or not you like it, whether or not you believe it, whether or not, no, I don't care. Just because you close your eyes doesn't mean the bad things are going to go away. It's happening in front of your face. So, I'm going to go to break. I will be right back after this. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You know what you want. You want the truth. You want the facts. Without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Distorted Reality. I am your host, Nick Tucker, and I welcome you to the broadcast.
Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hello, everybody. This is Brian Lang with Live Truth Radio and TV. You're listening to Wayne S. Pierce with American Liberty Radio.
Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. Yeah. How are you? It's the 5th of July, 2017. This is American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. If you want to become a patron, you can. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page. Down, just scroll on down a little bit. It's on the left-hand side of the page. It says Become a Patron. Click there and, well, drop $1 in the kitty to help us keep the lights on around here. All right? Got to keep me caffeinated because I like coffee, okay? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, you want to ask, no question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Okay. Enough of my ranting for 20 minutes. Sorry, folks. Now, again, free speech. Again, we have to defend it. An NPR poll tells us that spy agencies and the courts are trusted, but Trump is not. David Knight looks at our trustworthy spies and judges who regularly violate the law. Infowars.com, 5th of July, 2017. In government we trust. No, yet spy agencies, most trusted institution. Americans are putting their trust in proven liars. That's a video, so I'll put that up on American Liberty Radio podcast. I saw a part of a video yesterday, and I'll go find the title for you right now. Because I watched the opening of this person's speech. It's a long, it's like a conference he was in apparently, but it's about a half hour long, and I'm not going to play it here. But, crap. I hate when I go someplace and I got to sign in because it should just be automatic. But anyway, it's not. I saw this opening of a video that this person did. Now, and give me a minute here. I got to look it up. Here, no, let me see here. I'm on YouTube. It's there. I know I had it. I've watched so many videos in the last 24 hours. Holy crap, this is like, here it is. Here it is. Let me see if this is it, and you might hear some audio and stuff like that. So, people know the truth. Okay? People know the truth. And they understand it. And this is the thing. And there are people out there who really don't care about the truth or the facts. They don't really give a crap. And they don't care, and they won't because of the fact that they just don't care. They just don't. they don't give a rat's ass, really. Let me see if this is the video. I think I have it up. I'll put the link in American Liberty Radio podcast for you. And, well, if my Wi-Fi would work, this is one of the reasons why I have to upgrade the studio. I'm telling you right now, I need to upgrade, and I'm on Wi-Fi right now, so so it's not working really well. Okay, yes, this is it. I'm going to put this up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Sorry for the delay here. I'm just trying to do two things at once. So this whole video is 39 minutes and 45 seconds long. But it goes into a lot. Apparently, I just like I said, I just saw like the first 5 minutes of it. But I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast for you guys to check out. Okay? And the title of it is, and if you guys want to, the title of it is, as I go and click off of the page, I haven't had enough coffee today, folks. The title of this video is called, "This is Why Evidence Not for Public Release. Watch this video before it's too late." Now, people, always say, before it's too late, before, Facebook takes it down, before, YouTube takes it down. And, I hear sirens outside of the studio. So anyway, people say that all the time. That is to get you into the, the clip, the whatever. But I saw like the first 5 minutes of this video, and let me tell you something. This is something you need to know. So it's on American Liberty Radio podcast, and I'm going to share it on the main feed as well for everybody else. And it's about whistleblowers. It's about, government, and it's by a former CIA agent. Okay, now, of course, people will say, yeah, sure, it's true. Yeah, you naysayers and you skeptics and you people out there that just say, I'm full of bull crap and people are lying and all this. Let me go here. Let me just say this. Go stick your head in the sand, because that's where it belongs. Because you people absolutely don't know what you're talking about. You never have and you never will. So just, bye-bye. Have a nice day. There's the door. You want a few bucks for a cab? There you go. Get the hell out of here, because you don't know what you're talking about. I refuse to deal with somebody else's ignorance. I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and that's just the way it is. I'm not, so there you go. Alex Jones Show, 5th of July, 2017, breaking Soros moles, George Soros. Soros moles discovered inside White House. Also, find out why Joe Scarborough hates Donald Trump. George Soros is still doing his best to try and destroy America through destabilization, and Roger Stone reveals why psycho Joe Scarborough hates Donald Trump. So there you go. It's a video. So I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. I may extend this podcast. Who knows? Because I talked so much in the first segment. Yeah, every once in a while I get on a roll, and I just talk. That's just the way it is. And, yeah, so CNN rocked by huge backlash after it blackmails creator of Trump CNN meme. News network accused of coercing, threatening to dox private citizen. Dox, D-O-X. Okay. So since I mentioned that, let me put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. Goes right along with the free speech that I talked about earlier. Or let me make it more specific about the government's anti-free speech campaigns through their massive mainstream propaganda media outlets. Okay? So there's so many things, and I'm not, I don't know everything. Okay? And I'll tell you straight up, I don't know everything. And when I feel that I'm veering off in another direction, I'll let you know because, you know, a lot of it relates to one another. So a lot of the information I have, such as Breitbart is reporting on the 5th of July, 2017, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, says, and I'm going to quote him, he says, "I will govern like a Roman god." French President Emmanuel Macron has declared he will govern France like Jupiter, the Roman king of the gods. Summoning over 900 politicians from both houses of the French Parliament to a rare congress at the palace of Louis XV, the Sun King, in Versailles, he threatened to overrule lawmakers with a referendum if they try to frustrate the reforms he wishes to impose on the legislature. Such assemblies are usually reserved for times of national crisis. Reuters reports him as saying he desires to reign as Jupertium, I don't know. A quote, a remote, dignified figure like the Roman god of gods who weighs his rare pronouncements carefully, unquote. Jupertian president. Macron himself has said he plans to, yeah, I just said that. Jeez. The bizarre statement of intent comes days after Macron scrapped the president's traditional Bastille Day press conference with the Elysee Palace official claiming the 39-year-old's thoughts are too complex for journalists. He thinks he's smarter than everybody, folks. That's just a long way of saying he's an arrogant ass who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. Okay, so there goes France. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, France. Bye-bye. There you go. He's gone. Okay. That's on American Liberty Radio podcast. Yeah, he's just torn France a new a-hole. So there you go. China issues dire warning on North Korea. Quote, sooner or later, it will get out of control and the consequences would be disastrous. Unquote. War is coming. Max Slavo at shtfplan.com reports that. While the world watches in jest as Japanese residents prepare for a possibility of a confrontation with North Korea by panic buying nuclear shelters and air purifiers, we may soon realize that their efforts to desperately acquire protective gear and equipment for nuclear disaster were quite prescient. Big words there. Prescient. Prescient, is that right? And I graduated high school with A's in English. So, yesterday, North Korea successfully tested what is reportedly an ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile capable of striking Alaska from the Korean peninsula. Coupled with their purported advancements in nuclear technology, North Korea may now have the ability to launch devastating attacks on their southern neighbor, Japan, and even the United States. And if they have not yet achieved the ability to fit a nuclear warhead in an ICBM and deliver it effectively to its target, they are inching closer day by day. So close, in fact, that Chinese Ambassador Lu Jiel's recent remarks on the matter suggest we are nearing a dangerous breaking point. Quote, currently tensions are high and we certainly would like to see a de-escalation, unquote, Lu told news conference at UN headquarters as China takes over the Security Council presidency in July. Quote, if tension only goes up, then sooner or later it will get out of control and the consequences would be disastrous, unquote, he said. Earlier this year, President Trump deployed 3 carrier strike groups to the region, signaling the real possibility of the United States will no longer follow what Secretary of State Rex Tillerson calls a policy of, quote, strategic patience, unquote, employed by Trump's predecessors. Though the threat seems to be muted by global media, China and Russia appear to be taking it very seriously, with both having reportedly deployed tens of thousands of troops and equipment to their respective borders with the North. All of the signs suggest that military action is about to occur, and while most Americans may think that North Korea would be another Iraq, wherein the battle could be won in a matter of days, the fact that North Korea has a massive military and now, as confirmed yesterday, an ICBM capable of striking long-range targets, now would be a good time to imitate the Japanese by preparing for the worst, because the moment the world realizes that war is imminent, there will be a run on banks and grocery stores that will likely leave shelves and ATM machines completely empty. Following the Fukushima nuclear disaster, the price of government recommended anti-radiation pills skyrocketed from $15 to over $200 per unit. We expect to see a similar effect in coming weeks and months for preparedness equipment like gas masks and NBC bodysuits as tensions on the peninsula heat up. War is coming. President Trump has made this very clear, and North Korea does not appear to be heeding his warning. All bets will be off once the missiles start flying, because all 3 of the world's major superpowers will be involved in one way or another. It is not only possible, but quite likely that things could spiral out of control very quickly. This is from Max Slavo, shtfplan.com. I will put that one. I read the whole thing, so if you want to read it, it's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. I just big sigh because we don't need another war. But let me tear away the veil and show you who's perpetrating all of this. The Democrats and their allies. The Democratic Socialists and the Republican Fascists, the quote-unquote progressive party in America, and their allies around the country and around the world are preparing for war with North Korea. We were in North Korea in 1951 and 1955. We were in South Korea, I should say, in 1951 and 1955. But we never left South Korea. We won apparently we just, put it off, and the Korean conflict was, the media said the war was over. No, we just pulled a whole hell of a lot of troops out of there because, we finally got things stabilized, and we pulled a whole bunch of troops out. We still have bases in South Korea. We still do. And the South Koreans are a little pissed off that we're still there, but after 62 years, what do you expect? Think about that, folks. Just think about that for a minute. 2015, think about this. The Korean conflict ended in 1955. Okay, with North Korea, we were helping them beat North Korea. It ended in 1955. 62 years later, that's over a half a century. Okay? That's think about that. 50 years from that point was 2005. 62 years later, we still have bases there, and we are still helping them, stay out of war. But guess what? North Korea doesn't like the fact that there's peace in the southern part of the of the country. They hate that. So they're going to go after him. And this all started like years ago under the Obama administration. You remember that, right? So, are we going to go to war with North Korea? There's a huge possibility that we will. Huge possibility that we will. But I can tell you right now, and I've known this through reading about strategies in war and about other things as well, about how certain generals did certain things. And even in the Civil War, you can go back and look at all the strategies and the logistics in defeating the South, right? I mean, you can go and look this stuff up yourself, but the strategies really involve, for lack of a better phrase and to simplify it for you, cut the head off of the snake. You get rid of the leadership in North Korea in all aspects. You get rid of anybody coming up the ranks in those areas. You get rid of all, ways for them to be supported in all of that. And I'm talking militarily, mind you, because the generals take over and you're going to be in a multi-year war. So you cut the head off of the snake. You take out the legs of this giant. You speaking of giant, let's use this metaphor. David and Goliath. You whip your slingshot around, you throw that rock, you hit him in the forehead, and you kill him. I mean, that's just the way it is. America and the military-industrial complex knows exactly how to do that. With precision, mind you. So how are we going to deal with the saber rattling in North Korea? Well, one word: Iraq. We went in and just took care of it all. Took a few years, but we took care of it. And it's still destabilized in Iraq. But here's the other side of that coin. And you help me discuss this as well. I want your interaction in this as well. So you can go to American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook and drop in some comments. We are in constant conflict with other countries. Why? Because the military-industrial complex of the United States of America has purposely been, infiltrated, I'll say that, and are geared to overthrow other governments through CIA, FBI, and other clandestine organizations within the shadow government. We go out, the military-industrial complex, not we, not you and I, the military-industrial complex goes out and destroys countries. We did that in Iraq. We did that in several other areas, of the world. Libya. We didn't have to kill Muammar Gaddafi. We did that, by the way. We didn't need to do that. We didn't need to go hang Saddam Hussein. We didn't need to do that. No. Because when you look at those countries in the last 40 years, prior to their deaths, hardly any terrorism going on in those areas, hardly anything, any major issue that is going on now never happened when they were leading the countries. But the military-industrial complex was funding and operating in those countries and giving them the weapons to fight against the terrorism that they subsequently, over the years, squashed to a very minimal level. But then we go in and say, well, now we want the military-industrial complex went in and said under certain policies and rules and treaties and all this that now we want your resources. And these leaders are going, excuse me, wait a minute, I work for you. Why do you want my resources? Well, because we want it. Wait a minute, you gave us the weapons and now you, what? Wait, hold on here. Muammar Gaddafi several years ago gave up his weapons of mass destruction, and it's on record. Declassified documents say that he had weapons of mass destruction. Go look this up. Iraq, they didn't have it. But they knew where to get it. Okay. So we go in and we destabilize the countries like we did in Syria. You go look at what happened. There's information out there completely showing that there were destroyers and ships off the coast of Syria. We went in, we destabilized that country, set up this, puppet government or kind of a tenuous, kind of a temporary government. And the leader now is going, no, screw you. This is my country. America, get the hell out. And now we're going, no, we're coming in and doing what we need to do because we need the military industrial complex needs these strategic areas for all the resources that are there, for all the oil that is there, for all the gold that is still in certain areas, for everything that is there. The military industrial complex, under the orders of the elites that run Washington, D.C., are stealing every resource in other countries. They go and destroy and destabilize countries. They go in, they take the resources, they bring them back. Why? He who has the most gold wins. That's their philosophy. The United States of America has enough oil underground right here in the United States to last us a couple of thousand years. But we don't use it. Why? Well, because. Thank you to the people that made the deals with Saudi Arabia to use their oil and import it in here and have us pay, like bunches of money for it. If we were to open up the wells here in the United States of America, the gas on average in certain areas is about $2 a gallon, $2.50, $2.60, $2.70 a gallon. You know what? If we opened up the wells here in the United States of America, we'd be paying less than $1 a gallon for gas. It's not a glut on the market. It's what it is. We have plenty of resources to have prices driven way down so that you and I can afford to go to get gas for our car to go do what we need to do. But see, the big elites that run Washington, D.C., and the ones that have infiltrated Congress, they don't want that. The lobbyists and special interest groups work for these big companies. They don't want that. Why? Because, cha-ching, they make billions of dollars on our backs. Oh, there's other ways that they make billions and billions of dollars. But I'll go into that in another podcast. So this is what's happening, folks. It's in your face. It's right there. You know it. You see it. It's right there. But all you care about is your damn football game or baseball game. It's baseball season now. That's all you care about. Well, I'm telling you what else you need to be caring about, because sooner or later you're going to wake up and walk out to go to work, and you're going to find military, you're going to find military on the streets of your city. You're going to find MRAPs. You're going to find all these military personnel, carriers out on the streets. You're going to see cops and everything. You're going to see this. Why? Because now, as of last week, it was reported that in some states you now have to have a passport to move around your own state. And don't go to Snopes and tell me I'm wrong, because Snopes is a piece of crap. You see what's happening here? Oh, I got another podcast to do. I'm going to do a live show this week, and we're going to talk about this. Hopefully have a guest on. Hopefully have Nick Tucker on if he's available. And we're going to talk about domestic transportation and how all of this is set up and how the highways were set up and all that. We're going to get there, folks. And I'm going to go away for right now. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.